So we're going right back to basics with this shoot, and we're using two light sources, just actually a main light, of course, and then a secondary light source for separation. We're going to be absolutely bringing it back to basics as if we're working in a client's home or an office and we want to actually work and carry with the minimal amount of kit with it. So everything is portable to be carried by one photographer, as it were, not I'm relying on a donkey known as assistant. So what are we going to be doing? We're shooting with one lens again, 85mm, shooting at f4, just going to keep the creativity there as far as the depth of field is concerned. We're going for an umbrella, parabolic umbrella in fact, so depends on where I kind of push this closer or further away from the light source. It will slightly change its characteristics, but it's a big, soft, reflective umbrella. That's really what we want, okay? We're using a portable tri-grip reflector just on a little clamp stand, so I'm working pretty much steady the whole time. I haven't got to use one hand, whatever it be. And then we're using just a collapsible background here. So this is the only thing we're going to be photographing on, and this is the kind of the concrete style, and on the other side there's the old master, which we'll get to later on. We've got the Portalite, which is the basic Elinchrom softbox, and just by using the diffuser cap in there as well, that will actually lower the intensity of the flash and diffuse it at the same time. Okay, we're going to use this as our basics, but then in fact we're going to just change it around a little bit once we've shot them, and we're going to swap the umbrella for the Rotolux. This is the deep dish the softbox, beautiful in its quality. We're going to be doing that, and then we're going to swap the Portalite for honeycomb grids to really control the lighting down more and more. So the first session that we're going to be doing, we're going to do high key, mid key, and low key as well. We're going to start off with the high key. We've got Deanna, who's our actress returned from sunny abroad, coming back to work and needs some shots straight away, so that's great. And what we need to do now is actually just kind of rattle through to get those basic, kind of simple first three styles. That's the absolute key before we develop it into a more professional level. So the first thing I need to do, because I'm shooting in high key, is get rid of the softbox. So let's just get rid of our diffusion cap inside. We'll talk about that later on, and we'll lose the Portalite itself, and just pop in the reflector dish straight on. Now these are the Elinchrom 1 lights. So this is the lowest power that they physically produce. So it's down to Elinchrom 0.1. Okay, so basically means off, except for a little bit of power. We're using the light background. Going to get this as far away from it as we can so it diffuses out more, and I'm just going to put this straight up onto the full power. So on camera we're set at 400 ISO at f8, but in fact I'm not working that way. I've dialed my ISO back down already to the 100, and now I'm working at f4. Okay, so it's more on the creative aperture. Going to use the reflector, of course, to kind of bounce the light back underneath Deanna's face, and we're pretty much ready to go. Deanna, do you want to come and have a sit down for me, please? Excellent. I'll just push that away from you. Keep one foot on the floor. Turn the body around towards there if you can, please, darling. Turn the body more. That's gorgeous. Let me just move that across. Bring that up a little bit higher. And let's get the camera in position. So let's do our quick first test shot. Darling, you're going to turn the shoulders towards there more. Okay. Shoulders, that's lovely, and turn the head back to me. Turn the head more. That's excellent just there. Let me have a quick test. So now we're going to see our high key image straight away. Now, what we've done here, I just put the background light up onto its absolute full power. And I've got my other head, which is a Elinchrom 500 ELC head, on its minimum power, so it's 0.3. So on the backlight, we've got 4.00, and on this light, we've got 0.3. What does all that mean? Well, it means nothing unless you've got a meter, and that's really what you've got to do. The high key, remember, needs to be twice as bright as the main light source. That's the key thing that you've got to do with it. And if you can't get enough power out of your backlight to achieve those two higher stops, you've obviously got to then start to bring down the main light itself or change your aperture in accordancy and things really. So there's lots of little things that you can play around with the ISO game that we've talked about in the past. But first of all, we've got a lovely high key image. It's very flat though, okay, because obviously the umbrella is just giving this kind of control about it's going all over the place, and then the reflector itself is just spilling, okay? But let's get some shots done, and then we'll move into the mid key, and then we'll move into our kind of low key as well, before we actually move it into the professional version. Okay, darling, so let's kind of just turn the shoulders more for me, as much as you can, and turn the head back to me. Okay, can we just go straight with the head first? So I need to see which is the best side for you. That's the way it's there, let's keep it. So Deanna shouldn't overhear this now, but now I'm looking for the best facial position. There's our 3 shots. And this is where we want to see. So you can see straight away the difference. Deanna really works well with a full face. Okay, so we've got no problem there at all. It's probably better that we don't get her looking off towards the left, because that's going to broaden the face and its physical size. And if we get her looking over onto the right side, it's beautiful. So I know she's either a full face, best shot, or looking towards the right. So it's well worth doing these 3 shots to begin with, otherwise you'll never know the best thing for the client. Okay, so there's our kind of first shot with it. So that's where we're going to keep to. So darling, a little turn with the head around towards here. Can you lean forward to me? A little bit more, darling. Don't fall off the stool though, yeah? That's our promise to each other. Turn the head back around again, more. That's lovely. Great shot. Okay, so I've done the basic verticals. Need to actually shoot my horizontals as well. It's quite common now with all head shots. So even with the cropping, this is going to have a little bit of a crop in post-production, but that's one of the reasons why we use the tripod, so we can select them all and crop them en masse. But for this image, it needs to be cropped through the head just there, just a little bit, and then cropping just actually through the bust line, and that'll give us our perfect crop. Right, let's do our horizontal. So you're going to turn the head more for me. That's great, just there. Excellent, relax. So cool. So in the same thing, we crop just actually through the hairline here, just to actually get rid of that, and then we've got that lovely kind of post done ready. So again, we've got enough room there for text running down the side or whatever it would be and things. We've even got a nice square crop. So thinking about the crop in camera as much as you can, but we know we could grab all those images because they're on the tripod and selective cropping. So you obviously rattle through that to actually get a variety of expressions and so on. I want to go to the mid key straight away though now, okay? So I'm just going to switch off the background light. Whilst I'm there, I'm also going to get ready for the next shot. So I'm going to have an unlit background to begin with. That's the key thing. But I'm also going to just get ready for my low key image, which is going to be about minimizing the light coming out of this. So what I just put in the deflector cap, same point, switching on the light, then reducing it down in power to its minimum. And I'm pretty much ready to go. So whereas the light was direct onto the background before, now it's turning away from it. It's just going to act as a separation light when I want it to, but for now it's going to be switched off. And I do that from the trigger itself. So from all, I just switch it to group 1, which just means my umbrella light is going to fire. Okay, let's start with the horizontal first. Keep it. A little turn with the head again for me. More. That's lovely. And relax. So this is our 1 light. So this is going into our mid key without any trouble at all there. It's kind of a little going down to the dark level, and I don't want it to get that dark yet, so I might want to add light onto the background. So to do that, I can spin this around and just allow it to just spill onto the background a fraction. Remember, on minimum power on that light now. And it's got the diffusion on there as well. Shoulders just round towards here, Deanna, a little bit more, and turn the head back to me again. Lower the chin a little bit more with that little bit of lean to me. Brilliant, just there. Relax. So as we can see here now, it's illuminated the background, but now the contrast range between the background and the shirt are wrong, so I need to get Deanna to actually change her top. So you can see from the 2 images here, this is without the background light firing, and then this is with the background light firing. Let's not forget we've got a dark grey. It could be a wallpaper that you'd have in any home or in an office environment. The whole point is higher in that level. So what we've done here is put the light at its maximum power. It just happens to be, by pure luck, all right, the right amount of light for me to be able to photograph at 100 ISO and f4, which means if I metered the umbrella light, that gives me my f4. That's my key reading. And of course, when I'm measuring the background light, it's giving me that f8, that 2 stops difference with it. But of course, as I said to you, to avoid making any mistakes, I tend to actually always set the meter on 400 ISO when I'm working in this scenario, because it allows me to then actually play that ISO game, as I've talked about in the past. So this is the exact same shot, but just with the 1 light going off. and then this is with the background light going off. So no changes there at all. Okay, so remember what we're doing here. We're doing the mid key. So we're lighting that background. I'll just show you the difference with and without that light again. Deanna's tonal on her top now is matching within all the scene itself, okay? So let's just do the same shot. So let's do both of those lights. Turn the body around towards here. You're getting the hang of it now, and turning the head back towards me here. Look, that's beautiful just there. Lean in towards me a little bit more, darling. 1 second. So that's both the lights, and then this is just the key light. So you can see it. Now this is going into more of that mid-key, isn't it? So it depends on how bright you want it. That's lights on, minimum power is that background light, or that's just the main light and the spill that's going on. So you can see how it works. If I just pop that into monochrome for a minute, we do the same shot. Again, please, darling. Keep it. Excellent. You'll see what I mean about the tonal range. This is still a little bit bright, but it's still better than it was the white shirt with it. So if we had a choice, something like a darker color would be much better, but we're not really trying to do a low-key image at this point with it. But we've got nice light within the eyes. Everything's kind of working as far as the kind of the overall look and feel is concerned. Let's swap back to color mode and finish off some shots with it. Okay, darling, lean into me again, please. That's lovely. Turn the head a little bit more. Let's get there. It's lovely. Relax. Great. So we've kind of rattled through there without any real trouble. I want to go straight to the low key. Let's do the same thing again. This time though, we'll just turn the background around. So you should be thinking already that we know we want Deanna to go and get changed, because of course, the tonal range of the top again. But now instead of lighting the background, let's just light from the side, which will give us pretty much a good separation light. So let's do the same thing before we get changed, and we'll just see the look. Turn the head a little bit more for me. That's lovely. There. So all we've done here is change the background around, so we're into the old master style now, and we've turned the light away from it, and now it kind of adds that separation, brings the hair alive. What's the difference, okay? So if I just switch it off again, this is just going to be the main light source. And to me again, darling, turning the head this way a little bit more. It's lovely. It's there. And stay there for me. And I do the same shot. Relax. So you can see the difference there in those two images. Yep. One has got the separation light coming through. It's popping on there. It is spilling a little bit onto the background, of course, because it is a softbox and it's wrapping itself going through there. But there's our kind of dull hair, and we always want hair to really come alive, okay? That's the difference between a lot of photographers and a headshot photographer, is that separation element. Please, miss, will you go get changed for me? A dark top, as dark as you can, yeah. Turn the head to me again. That's lovely, it's there, keep it. Let me just check it. Lovely. So you can see the difference on there and how it all works. What I really want to change though, before anything else, is I've got to move from the umbrella, which is a great umbrella, and if you're stuck on budget, brilliant investment. I would definitely buy the outer diffusion skin to go with it, because it can become a softbox by itself. But for me, I'm a softbox man. Okay, so I want to move down onto that little bit more of a professional level. I know it takes slightly longer to put up, as far as when we arrive at our clients, but I promise you it's worth every single second. So first thing for me is just to move the light away from the client, or to get the client to step out of shot. Okay, quick test there. Quick test. This is our softbox. Look at how basically lovely and soft the light is coming through in the eyes. And then this is the umbrella light, so it's more specular and alive and everything else with it. So as you can see here, where the reflector panel was really doing quite a big job before, you can tell that from the teeth and how much it's lit. When we're looking at the softbox, there's a lot more control. So when we kind of look at them together, you can see already how the light was really spilling around on this image, because it's lighting towards the top of the chest and everything else, whereas this one is a lot more controlled, controlling the light and softening the light at the same point. And that's why I love a softbox so much. So it's going to go at the 4 to 5 o'clock position for me, create that little bit more of an energy to the light. So in other words, a little bit more of a contrast. Pointing down still is key, of course. I want some of that light to bounce off the reflector. And I've just got to get Deanna to just turn the head around a little bit. That's lovely, darling. And again, it's lovely. Great shot. So let's kind of just bring this up a little bit more. Yeah, so we're kind of working in the low key. It's a beautiful shot. We can see the light is actually giving us everything that we need as far as separation is concerned there. It's doing its job. If you feel that you need a little bit more, then you can. In the classics, we always put the separation light on the same side. Let's just swap sides for 1 minute with that backlight to just bring this hair alive a little bit more. Because I've asked her to put the head on this side as well, it'll protect the cheek from any light spilling onto the cheek. Little smile, just a touch. It's lovely. So let me just check it. Excellent. So I think the next thing for us to do is just change that softbox, which is operating as the separation light, to a harder light source. We're going to use a honeycomb. Okay, let's do the same thing. Okay, lean in again for me. That's lovely. And relax. So we can see the difference in here straight away. The softbox is less kind of specularity, less sharper the light. Okay, you could say we'll put it up more in power and you get more light, yes, but it's about softness and delicateness. That's the key thing. It's the specularity of the hard light that comes through. That's the real difference. It's not just the intensity of light, but it's the sharpness of the light that makes it. And as I said, the light from behind appears twice as bright. So as it hits a reflective surface, it increases its intensity by 2 stops. You can't help that. That's life, so be just aware of it. I would love a 3-light setup in here, but I'm only allowed a 2, so I'm going to have to sacrifice the separation light as a hair light, and I'm going to use it as a gelled light onto the background, just to give it a little bit of kind of feel. We just added a blue gel on to the back. We've obviously got on minimum power anyway. Let me just move over here. And you're just going to turn. That's lovely, just as you are. Let me just check you look great. Straight away, we've got that intense blue color coming in from behind. What you've got to watch, though, the intensity, the white light isn't too bright. I'm just using a normal studio stand. Better to actually use a floor stand if you can carry one with you, just to get that light a lot lower. And obviously, if you need it to spread more because you've bought the wrong reflector dish or whatever, just take the light off set and allow it to kind of flood the whole scene. Okay, let's do it. Straighten me again. Turn the head a little bit more. Relax. Turn the head more. That's it. Let's do it. Lovely smile you got. Ooh, Vixen, red. Fake it more. It's lovely. So you can see by adding in those gels the difference it's made to the portraits. Again, with the unlit Old Master background here, then using the separation light just actually onto the background, but now using the different colored gels. It's a blue, an amber, a red, and then going to like a turquoisey color, and then actually off to the green, you can see there. But it's just amazing what you can do with 2 lights if you think about what you're taking with you on the shoot. And pretty much everything that we've used is portable in a small car. It's available for you to be able to actually kind of move from location to location. I suppose the only thing difference really is the big lighting stand that I'm using on wheels because I'm in studio today. That would just be replaced by a normal lighting stand. But just think about what you're trying to create. And when you kind of go back to that very first shot that we did in the high key, where we basically went from a grey background to white just by changing the exposure, then when we switch that light off, it gives you exactly the same effect. So there's the before we actually light the background, and then that's where we light the background. And then going through into the mid key, remembering to change the subject's clothes so we kind of lower the tonality so it gets more towards a mid-tone grey. That will really help us. And then when we start to work in the likes of lower key, then obviously keep that tonality, and obviously that's being set here by both Deanna's hair and her top as well. But just don't stick to a softbox or to an umbrella or to a snoot, whatever it is. Always play around with as much as you can, and that might even be, as I said, just bringing in the likes of some coloured gels to a shoot every now and again. But if you're photographing for a company and you're really on a tight budget and you've got the likes of the Old Master background here by Lasterlight, this collapsible background is perfect because just by adding some gel onto it, all of a sudden it takes on a totally different characteristic within the photograph itself with it, and it will allow you to add more into your headshot shoot.